Hello, I'm Jim Vass from ATB Chartered Accountants, and today I'm having a chat with Angelo Dorado from Watkins Taylor Stone.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, how you doing? Thank
Good.
you for coming in.
Thanks.
Angelo, I'd like to talk to you about workers' compensation insurance today. So, could you give me a brief overview of what is workers' compensation?
Sure. In brief, Jim, workers' comp is basically covering wages. So if an employee gets injured, it will cover their wages and also some medical benefits until they get back up and running and back to work.
Okay. So, with a lot of industries, we actually see that there's quite a variation um, in what one company may pay in workers' compensation as to another. What will typically drive uh, how workers' compensation premiums are covered?
Look, workers' compensation is basically driven by your occupation. So if you are a construction, let's say, worker, your rates would be a lot higher because there's a higher risk as opposed to someone that's working in an office like yourself or me. It's based on your occupation and also for your wages, so what wages actually pay.
So, if we've got an instance now where people are travelling to and from work, would that be covered under workers' compensation? What typically are the circumstances where that insurance is actually covering the workers?
Interesting question, Jim. So basically, workers' comp changed their legislation some years ago. Workers' comp, so coming to and from work, so if you're leaving from home, coming to work, the workers' comp does not actually cover. There's a new insurance policy called Journey Insurance that would cover that. So you would need to cover Journey Insurance. So if someone was injured coming to from home to work, wouldn't be covered by workers' comp. If they were going from the office to, let's say, a client meeting, and they were injured on that way, then yes, workers' comp would kick in for that.
And now there's a lot of people that are actually quite concerned about putting a claim through workers' compensation because they fear that their premiums are going to go through the roof in the following year. Is that typically what will happen in industries?
Look, no, not necessarily. So you should really, any injury, you should be notifying the insurer straight away. They'll mark it down because you don't know if that injury may come up 7 years later. That employee may say, "Oh, I injured myself during work." So it's best that the workers' comp, the insurer is notified of the incident. Should let your broker know, and also iCare, which and they can notify. Either you can notify them directly.
Two more questions for you.
Sure.
First one would be if we actually happen to have a claim under workers' compensation, what would the process for that be? Would we go directly to the insurer, or if we're using a broker, is the broker typically there to help us do that?
Best to notify the broker and get assistance, and also the broker can notify the insurer, but claim forms would need to be completed, and then the insurer would be involved. So I'd be involving both parties, Jim.
Okay. And for the final question, every year well, it's more of a statement but a question as well. So every year we have to actually complete a actual wages declaration, which is lodged
Correct.
with the insurance company to work out what the premiums are going to be. And then there's a refund. How does that work with the actual wages and then the estimate wages?
Okay.
How do they typically work that out?
So let's say round figure, if your wages were you estimate 100,000, your premium will be based on that 100,000. If in the end of the year that you only paid out $90,000 in wages, then the insurer will do an adjustment to the dollar of based on the 90,000 of what you paid. However, if you have paid 120,000, you'd pay an additional $20,000. The adjustment will be based on that extra wage that you've been paid.
Thanks, Angela.
Not a problem.